Uh, oh, thanks. And then, yeah, so week 1 is this week, and it's sleep, night sweats and hot flashes. Week 2, which is next week, will be memory loss and depression. Week 3 is going to be food, exercise and weight gain. And then week 4 is low mood and anxiety. So I sort of like, for me, I've put them in order of how I feel that they're important. And the sleep is the biggest one for me. So that's the one I've really struggled with over the past. So everything I'm going to say now is, I've written it all down. There's loads. So I'm just going to read it out to you. And then at the end, if you've got any questions, then just fire ahead. But if you've got a pen and paper, if you want to take notes.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start from the top. So firstly, a little about the menopause. Well, you know, pretty much, you know, if it's something that you've already started, or if you think you're going into, well, you'll probably know a lot already. So menopause is when your period stops due to lower hormone levels. This usually happens between the ages of 45 and 55. It can happen earlier for other reasons, such as surgery, partial or full hysterectomy, cancer treatments like chemotherapy, radiotherapy, or genetic reasons. Your ovaries stop producing eggs, and then production of the hormone estrogen and progesterone decline. A woman is said to be in menopause when she hasn't had a period for 12 months in a row. So there's 3 main stages. There's perimenopause, which is probably the most deflating of them all. And then you've got your menopause, and then you've got postmenopause. So perimenopause is when you're going through all your symptoms. No 2 days are the same. No 2 people are the same. I'm pretty sure there could be 10 of us in a room, and there would only be a couple of symptoms that would marry, because everybody else's is just different, you know, from cramps to pain to hot flushes to mood swings, you name it. They seem to hit us. I think there's a list of about 50 different, or, you know, all together. So, and then there's the menopause, which is no periods of 12 consecutive months. And when they diagnose this, that's it. They say your menopause only lasts 24 hours, and that's the 24 hours of the day that it's diagnosed. So then you go straight into postmenopause. So no periods in 12 consecutive months. And then this is the stage where you've got to be careful, because your symptoms have subsided, but then women who are considered to be comfortable, however, it's a stage where you're in risk of osteoporosis and heart disease because of the decreased estrogen levels. Okay, sorry, I'm stuttering because I'm nervous. So GP checks are more important than ever at this stage, because we just think that we're okay. So, and we're not really, are we? You know, nobody really knows how their estrogen levels are. They don't know whether they're in, whether they've got brittle bone, and it's these things that have got to be tested. But going to a doctor and trying to get them tested is another matter altogether. So they always say try and seek out a specialist, and that's not always easy either, because for one, people haven't got the money, and the GPs just don't know enough about the menopause. They just hear it as a list of symptoms and say, oh well, yeah, you're such and such an age, so yeah, that's it, you're in the menopause. And then some women go through 11 months of not having not having a cycle, and then all of a sudden they're hit with a 2-day period, something stupid like that. So then no, they're not in the menopause. So it's a minefield, it really is. So I'm going to carry on. So a little on our hormones. So the female hormones, obviously thyroid, this produces a range of hormones that help control metabolism. You've got estrogen, needed for puberty, menstrual cycle, pregnancy, and bone strength. Progesterone triggers ovulation and promotes sleep. Testosterone, called the male hormone, but important for women's health. We just produce less of it, but it's need to produce and carry red blood cells. This helps with the oxygen around the body and is important for energy. Then we've got cortisol, playing an important role, helping your body cope with stress. However, if you're stressed, a lot of your cortisol levels are too high or too low. It can affect your sleep, energy, and it's a hard one to manage. So, sleep-wise, you've got to get into some sort of routine. It's really hard to manage. So if you're a night owl, then you need to start going to bed at a decent time, more so because your body's just got so much that it needs to do. So a routine in the evening is so important during menopause. Your body doesn't get to relax. It just does different jobs. Growth and repair work, if you like. Melatonin is released into the pineal gland, and this controls your sleep pattern, which then aids repair work. Sounds simple, but it's not. Simple changes at night can help aid a better night's sleep, because if we do nothing and hope the problem will just solve itself, it won't. It'll just get worse and symptoms will start to multiply. A lot of the time, it's not the hot flash which keeps you awake. It's how as an individual we deal with it. For example, if you have a few nights of a bad sleep, we find ourselves waking up hot, sweaty and panicky. We'll clock watch all night and then become agitated, and then this leads to us starting to start fearing sleep. This cycle is unlikely to continue, or is likely to continue over time, which prompts us to start adjusting to our routines, reducing caffeine, using supplements, going to bed at the same time, exercising during the day. Where all these are positive changes, as sleep has taken over your thoughts, and it then becomes your biggest focus, leaving us awake at night. So this and the hot flashes, your bedtime becomes a negative space. So a few tips to improve your sleep are: go to bed at a reasonable time, not too early, not too late. Get up at the same time every day. Even if you haven't slept, this will help with your body clock. Staying in bed will just make you more tired. If you are in and out of sleep, it'll make you groggy. So getting up, having a cup of tea, getting fresh air, and even exercise. Another one is stop fretting. Lack of sleep makes you tired you can live with. Worrying just makes you stressed, feeling low and anxious. If you wake up in the night, get up. The longer we lie there, the less likely we will get back to sleep. This will then release the stress hormone cortisol. There are 2 stages of sleep. Number 1 is rapid eye movement. Rapid eye movement has an intense brain activity. You will experience vivid and active dreams. This sleep restores your brain and it's good for memory and learning. And then there's number 2, which is deep sleep. It's associated with your body rather than the brain. Your breathing is slow and your heartbeat is regular. Your muscles are relaxed and you'll sleep through external noises. This helps repair and replace cells, build muscles, tissues, and heal wounds. So then we've gone on to a few bits for foods. So what foods can help sleep during menopause? So studies have shown that foods containing vitamin B6 have the ability to promote the production of melatonin, the hormone that induces sleep. Foods such as tuna, salmon, beef, liver, potatoes, fruit, but not citrus, chickpeas, dark leafy leaves, bananas, fortified cereals. The fortified cereals, everything's added to them. So such as, cornflakes, and actually most cereals, if I'm honest, but they're probably the ones that are higher in sugar, so we tend to stay from anyway. So adding more of these to your daily meal planner could help. Other tips to do daily are: keep your room at a comfortable temperature, exercise regularly but not too close to bedtime, have a caffeine cut-off time, avoid larger meals late in the evening, have regular routine, avoid daytime naps, limit alcohol. Nobody likes that one. No. Avoid screen time and use relaxation techniques such as deep breathing, meditation and aromatherapy. We can come on to medications and natural therapies, so HRT. hormone replacement the therapy works well on its own once you have the correct dose, but also works well with complementary medicines such as acupuncture and homeopathy, like natural substances. It also works well with herbal remedies such as maca root, milk thistle, ashwagandha. Things like these need to be taken over a decent period of time. Trying them for a few days isn't really going to help.
Yeah.
So I've done a list of herbal remedies that I've tried and tested, and there's only 2 of them that I actually stick with. But just because stuff hasn't worked for me doesn't mean it won't work for yourself. So maca root, so this one aids symptoms including hot flashes and interrupted sleep. Then you've got milk thistle, liver cleanser, vital for hormone balance, reduces mood swings and anxiety. Then we've got magnesium. This one's quite important. So helps maintain strong bones and prevents osteoporosis. Also helps insomnia, depression and cramps. Then we've got ashwagandha. This is my favourite one. This is the one that I would never not take. So it's a mood balancer, decreasing over the production of cortisol, which is the stress hormone. Then we've got sage leaf. Hey?
How do you spell that, ashwagandha?
Ashwagandha, so it's ASHWAG HANDA.
Right.
And it comes in capsule form. So so a mood balancer, this is a mood balancer, decreasing the production of cortisol, which is the stress hormone. Then we have sage leaf, prevents chills, night sweats, brain fog, cognitive difficulty, which is a lack of attention, long and short-term memory loss, and memory just in general, logic and reasoning, processing things seen and heard. Then there's black co-wash, helps with hot flashes at night, sweats, palpitations, tinnitus and irritability. That's probably a good one for most. Okay, so then we've got other options like acupuncture, yoga, hypnosis, CBT, which is cognitive behavior therapy, mindfulness, meditation, breathing exercises, aromatherapy. So a brief review of a better night's sleep is eat well, fresh foods, fresh wholesome foods, reduce refined sugars, reduce caffeine, reduce stress by exercising, practicing regular sleep patterns, drink plenty of water, have a notepad and paper down so you can write down any thoughts or shopping that is racing around in your head. Find out what works for you, talk about it. Your menopause is individual. Every symptom, everybody's different. Oh, I can't even speak. Everybody's symptom is different, but it's good to share tips. So, because what it really is a case of what works for one. And my two on the herbal stuff is the ashwagandha and the magnesium. No,
I just got a bit confused. Is that much out there in terms
There's
of...
loads out there. I mean, I've tried all these. The sage leaf, that comes in, you can get a capsule, but then it comes in oil as well. So, and it's just pop a little thing in. So like for things like that, you wonder how such a small amount of something can help. But I don't know, with the ashwagandha, I almost felt instantly that something changed in me when I started taking that. And the magnesium, I just thought, well, I could not take that because of the exercise, and because I'm on the wrong side of 50, and then you've got to, you have got to worry or to start being aware of the fact that, heart disease can set it, especially if you've got, if it's in the family, that type of thing. So it's worth looking into the herbal side of things.
What magnesium to take? Because I did look at it, and when I looked at it, I was a bit overwhelmed because there was all kinds of different strengths, and you can get it.
I think mine it actually makes me heave because it's quite big and it's chalky. I think it's about 1200 milligram. So I tend to just go with whatever's the strongest one I can buy, if I'm honest. So but then you know, other people swear by the maca root as well. So
right.
Okay. But it's a hard one. I've tried acupuncture and massage. I've tried that in the past. I used to go quite often for the acupuncture. Well, I used to go every week, and it was lovely, to be fair, because after it you did get a full body massage, and that was really lovely. But I don't really think it helped me in any other way other than I just enjoyed the session as such. So, but a big one is a couple of my friends have had the hypnosis, and they think it's brilliant, but I don't know. Everything costs money, doesn't it, at the end of the day?
Yeah.
And I've thrown that much money at things trying to feel like my old me, that you just think, oh my, where do you draw the line? So
so suffered quite badly then?
Is what, sorry?
Suffered quite badly.
Yeah, briefly. I had hysterectomy when I was 40. So I had my ovaries removed as well. So it put me straight into the menopause. So and then I came out of hospital with my HRT and never had I actually didn't think that it was doing anything, because I didn't feel any different to when I went in, other than a bit of depression. But that was like, because they say if you have a hysterectomy and you have everything removed, that you sort of like grieve for it. You grieve in for your womanhood as such. So I was on it for 6 years, and then they took me off it. And then that was when I realised actually it was doing me the world of good. But then they wouldn't put me back on, because they said you can't be on it for too long. So it took me about 2.5 years of complete brain mayhem, and begging for them to put me back on it, which they did. But then I couldn't, the milligram that they put me on, the dosage that they put me on in the first place, didn't work then. So I had to go on a higher one. And then luckily everything leveled out, because I just found that I was really self-destructive when I wasn't taking anything. And in the end, they just said, well, it's at your risk that, because obviously it's come a long way from years ago when it first came out. But I said, at the end of the day, it's my risk. And, and I'm not being flippant by just saying, give it to me. I've thought about the risks, but they far outweighed, or the taking the HRT far outweighed the lack of being able to live what I think is normal. So, but I made other things, like I changed my bed into, what's it called? The bamboo, the bamboo sheets, and like even silly things with socks and just a few adjustments, and switch my heating off in the bedroom. And in fact, to be fair, it's always cold in our house because the heating's not on very often. I have to be really cold for it to be on, but Jason doesn't seem to mind, and the kids aren't at home anymore, so I froze them out. No, I didn't really. So it's just making adjustments that, go to bed. It's not pleasant. Some people don't like getting into a cold bed, but if you're already hot before you've even got there, then you've got no chance of trying to cool down, because once you're hot, it's through a hot flash, it's so hard. And then you do go cold because the sweat becomes cold, but then once you've sort of reheated it all again, you're back to the sweaty, because the hot flashes are they're not pleasant when they're waking you up at night, but it really is a case of how you deal with them, because for so many years I would just let it stress me out, and I used to live off about 2.5 hours a night sleep, and then try and function on top of that. And it made my character so impulsive, like one day I'd be happy to do something, the next day I would think, right, that's got to go, and it would go. I'd get rid of it. I've finished jobs on an impulse and then thought, oh, what did I do that for? But that's just sometimes how it just affects you mentally. So, and I don't know. I mean, I know people go through the menopause and they don't bat an eyelid. They just go through it and that's it. But then for some, I think it's a proper struggle, and I know I've struggled. So, and now I'm back on my HRT. I take my magnesium and my ashwagandha, and I'm happy as Larry. So, and my head's at an even.
Yeah.
Because I've had CBT, so
Right.
Don't know really whether I thought, because they told me I was better, and I was like, oh, what's that? Am I not coming again? So they went, well, no, you're all right. And I was like, oh, I didn't even feel like we'd touched the surface, if you know. So and that was for 12 months straight every week. So apart from the odd holiday when we were away. So but I think the top and bottom of it is, if you can get a good night's sleep, and then you haven't got the same type of brain fog going on. So but yeah, so even if there's just a couple of things that you take from it, then it's worth just giving it a go. Are you going through it? No.
Probably the last 12 months I've been getting like night sweats.
Yeah.
It's not time, but more often than not, and probably the last 3-4 months I started getting the hot flushes in the day.
Yeah.
I know my mood's changing.
Yeah.
I rage over nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's coming.
Yeah. No. So
really love work, actually. They offer so much support. Like we have I don't know if you heard of Susan. Oh gosh, what's her name? Oh, she's quite well known in the menopause world, but she runs a workshop every month. It's only just started, and she's doing some sessions as well with us, which is good.
Brilliant, yeah.
They really grasped onto it in work, and they recognise that it's a big thing and need to be supported.
Yeah. I mean, it is all over the news, isn't it, at the minute? It has been for probably 12 months plus, and it is good that it's recognised, because I don't think they realise how deflating it is. The trouble is, years ago is people didn't live that long, so it was never really a thing. But now, like, we're living into our 70s, 80s, 90s, aren't we? So it's inevitable that everyone's gonna, well, most people are gonna hit some sort of brick wall with it. But yeah, it's just finding, like, it in the night, if you wake up with it, then if you're waking up with hot flashes, then breathe your way through it. So, just in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4. And just like slow your body down, nice and relaxed. Some people will use different patterns but I just think, for me, the in for 4, out for 4, hold in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4 just seems to work. It's but everybody's 4's different as well, isn't it? Everybody's length of 4. But that's one that I found more recently is a good one, because you can breathe anywhere in the day, even at your office desk. Nobody need know. I mean, I know they're a bit of a giveaway, because some people do have that look, don't they, where you've gone a little bit shiny and a little bit red, but you can do breathing exercises anywhere. So that's probably another one of my biggest go-tos, is just try and breathe your way through it. Tell yourself it's in a way, embrace it. And I hate it when people say that, because you just think it's just such a horrible thing. Why the hell would I embrace it? But if you don't, what's your option? Your stress hormone. No. And the more stress hormone that is released, the more weight we're going to put on, and that's the top and bottom of it. So So yeah, so I hope you get something from it.
Written a few things down there, which is
Yeah.
useful. Yeah.
Because most of us clean eat and all that anyway, don't we? I mean, it's the answer for everything these days, isn't it? So so we all do our bit, but it doesn't mean to say that we're all going to be eating the best we can all the time, because everybody wants to live as well. So but yeah, if you take a couple of things from this, then it's better than not having any type of knowledge in the first place. The very fact that you've got somebody as well in work, that's amazing. But when some of the clients come and speak to us after and they talk about it, even if there's just one little bit of information that they take away, well, then it's helped in some way. But then equally, if there's something that they want to share that works for them that I haven't thought of, then that's good as well. So because we have to stick together so we can all go party together. So but yeah, so is there anything else that you want to ask, or
I don't think I've got any burning questions, to be honest.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Well, you know where I am anyway, so
yeah.
I'm always happy to speak to anybody after class or whatever. It's or even message me if there's a question. So but it is a minefield, and there'll be many different answers. People will every expert. I'm not saying I'm an expert. I have done a qualification, but it's I don't class myself as an expert. I just like to think that I can help a little bit. So
great to have you.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
After this, so I probably will.
Oh. All right, Flower. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Yeah, you too. I'll probably see you soon in the studio.
All right then. Take care. Bye.
Bye. Gosh.